Hey, I'm going to be talking about hard truths about boundaries. Woo! This is a fire one today. I cannot wait. I love talking about healthy boundaries because it's really life-changing when you start showing up in your life differently and how you interact with your relationships, your whole life changes. All right, so Hokey in the house, Hokey in the house. So let's get started. So let me start with the first myth about boundaries. Let's talk about a myth about boundaries. People think that setting boundaries is about changing other people's behavior. Mm-mm. That's not really what setting boundaries is about. Setting boundaries is really about keeping promises to yourself. It's really about putting a boundary around your own behavior, about setting a precedent on what you will and will not tolerate anymore in your life. That's why one of the key steps of creating boundaries is communicating those boundaries. A lot of people are too afraid to even tell people what their boundaries are. And when you are aligned and you know who you are and you know who you are authentically, trust me, you have no problem telling people what you tolerate, what you don't. One of the things I tell people, like I'm all about like spaciousness. I don't rush. You're not going to rush me to make decisions. You're not going to, this is who I am, right? I like to process. I am present. I'm slow. So when you know who you are, you have no problem expressing that, and people know who you are, and they feel really secure in your presence because you are secure in who you are and you communicate your boundaries. So many people don't communicate their boundaries, and I teach my clients in my Finding Peace After Divorce group program how to use I messages when communicating your boundaries, because boundaries isn't about someone else. It's not about someone changing anybody else's behavior. It's about changing how you are showing up in your relationships with others. So I will no longer listen to this conversation if you choose to raise your voice. It's not about what the other person's doing, it's about what you will do and keeping a promise to yourself. Now, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. So many people struggle to communicate, struggle to even follow through on those boundaries because they haven't done the inner work on themselves to show up differently in their relationships. Because the truth is, deep down, you don't believe that you matter. You don't believe that your needs are as important as anyone else. And people pleasing is actually a way of protecting yourself from not feeling good. If I can make so and so happy, and then they'll validate me and I'll feel good about myself. Or if I do what they want, they'll like me. And if they like me, I must matter. It must be okay. But, life doesn't work that way. There's always going to be people who don't like you. There's going to be people who don't like what you do. But what's important is, like, do you like you? You love and accept all parts of you. And the truth is, if you are a people pleaser, you haven't done the inner work because you are still struggling to get validation. And, I tell people you cannot solve internal problems with external solutions. It has to be an inward solution. And so I teach my clients conscious exercises, intentional strategies, actionable exercises so that they build that self-worth. They build, their self-esteem so they can show up differently in all of their relationships. So I want you to come to our workshop on Saturday, and we're going to talk deeply, dive into the deep healing stuff and really get into the mucky muck of like why you're still people pleasing, why you're a nice guy, why you keep, you know, letting that ex trigger you, letting that you know, partner walk all over you, or not really speaking up for your own needs, or taking the time for yourself, or putting your self care on the back burner. So, we're going to talk about why you're doing that and how to stop it. Because, listen, changing your life can happen so quickly. You don't have to spend years feeling down, feeling unproductive, feeling low energy, feeling unworthy and lonely. I mean, there are things that you can take that will change your life in a matter of weeks. So I am looking forward to seeing you at this workshop coming up. So if you've not signed up, click below. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. All right. It's life changing. Y'all don't want to miss it. Okay. All right. Bye. Talk to you soon.